Hello guys, so let's continue our tough work with the recommended users. Okay, so I'm going now to the friends.view controller. First of all, I will have to create a new variables which will be in charge of storing all recommended users. So this one, whatever is related to requested, I'll just put it here. Then here I'll write a part 3 which will be recommended users. Okay, so here I'll create a new variable which will be recommended users equals to NS dictionary in the square brackets, then open and close round brackets. Then we're doing the same but for the Ava. Recommended users underscore avas equals to in the square brackets UI image open and close round brackets. This will store an array of the images. Okay, that is superb. Then this will help us to store all of these. So then I'm scrolling to the bottom. Here I'll write a new function which will be load recommended users, open and close round brackets, and then open curly brackets. So this will be, as usual, our HTTP request where we will start writing a URL. So we'll write let URL equals to URL, open the round bracket, select the method with the string, and in the quotation marks we'll write HTTP :// local host /fb friends.php, coming out from the round brackets and exclamation mark. Then we'll write a body, let body equals to, here we'll write action will be equals to recommended as in our PHP, and ID will be equals to left/open and close round bracket. And here we will write ID. We'll just now access this ID. Okay, here we'll access this ID. We'll write guard let ID equals to current user question mark. Then in the square brackets we're accessing ID. In the square brackets, then in the quotation marks, we'll write ID else. We want to return. Here we are accessing ID. Here we are preparing request. Okay, very good. So then we'll create a request var request equals to URL request, open the round bracket, select the method with the URL, and we'll write a URL as a URL. Then we'll write request.http method will be post. As I told you, this is the most secured method. Then we'll write request.http body will be equals to body.data using .utf-8 encoding. Very good. So we're here now sending the request. Sending request below. Okay, so we write URL session.share.data task with the URL request and the completion handler. Request, the request we have just now created. Completion handler, we click enter data as data, and response as response, and error as error. Okay, great. Here don't forget to resume it. And we want to everything happen in the background queue. So we write dispatch queue.main.asynchronously. And here inside, we first of all will check for having an error. So we'll write if error is not nil. So then we want to return, means we don't want to continue, return. And then we'll write do catch, do in the curly opening close curly brackets, then write catch, and open and close curly bracket. In the catch curly brackets, write return. Okay, in the do we'll write guard let data equals to data else return. This is how we're accessing the data we receive from the server. Okay, beautiful. Then we'll access JSON. Let JSON equals to try JSON serialization.json object with the data which we've got. Options will be allow fragments. Okay, that is the one. And we will cast it as NS dictionary. Very good. Okay. After that, here we will access our JSON guard let. We can use users equals to JSON question mark, then in the square brackets, and then in the quotation marks we'll write users. Okay, then we continue writing here as in the square brackets ns dictionary, else in the curly brackets we want to return. Okay, you know that square brackets, it means array of ns dictionary. Square brackets always means array. Okay, return. But let's say if it is it failed to load it, we can actually reset the users, or we can just skip it. Okay, great. So here, after we have loaded the users, we want to assign it to our mother array variable self dot recommended users equals to our users, and then we want to reload itself dot friends table view dot reload the data. Okay, let me write it comments for you now. Okay, this scenario that is no errors, so we are proceeding further. Here we are, this is a safe mode of accessing or casting data received from the server. Okay, here we are accessing or casting JSON via data received and casted. Okay, here we are accessing all users from the JSON, and here we are assigning all users to the mother array. Mother array will load everything. Mother array, this is just how I call them, or parent array, will load everything in the table view. Okay, here we are reloading table view to make changes live. Okay, great. So now I'll write here to make an error messages like this helper. I'll just copy it for all of the cases when we've got an error. So this here, don't forget to put exclamation mark, and that will be server error. So then with the data, it will be data error, so it means we could not cast it, and exclamation mark here. And for catch, it will be JSON error. If we will fail to access JSON, then it will execute that one. Okay, great. So here we will print out the users, and we will scroll to the top to the view did load function, and we will load this function, which is load recommended users. And for us, the very important is to make sure that all of these functions are working and the users got loaded as well. So this is a very simple. We have done hundreds of them. The HTTP requests. So this function loads. This function loads all recommended users. Okay, very good. So here we got two users, which is Nicole Kidman, amazing, and we've got the Jackie Chan here. So great. So we now need to show everything in our table view. And as you have noticed, I would like now to work on the header. Okay, so for the header, we'll scroll right to the top. We will scroll right to the top, and at the top here we have one array, which is that one, requested headers. I'll just change everything in the scope to just headers. Great. Then here it's an array of the strings, so that is the first string. I'll just put comma and I'll put one more quotation mark. I'll just make sure that there is one more, which is people. You may know this is how Facebook is showing it. So that is amazing. Okay, so this is what we've done. So the next step will be to implement the function which actually shows the number of sections. So here we'll write number of section, and we want to return total number of section. It's headers.count. this is total number of sections in the table view. Very good. So after that, we will go to the header itself. So what I want is if there is no result in the friend request, so then I want to hide this. So this is what we will do. So we will go for the section which is called title for header in section. That is the function. We'll already work on this. So this code, I'm gonna update this since our code got more advanced and more updated. So I'll write here switch, because whenever you use this, then we want to switch the actual section, switch section case 0, section 0, which is a friend's request. If we scroll here, so that is section 0, that is section 1. You know how index are working. So if switch section case 0, then we'll write if self.tableview.number of rows, select that one, table view or table view, number of rows. Here we will write in the section is more than 0, then we want to return headers at section. So it means it will be 0, which means it will be friend's request. Okay, very good. So then we'll write a case number 1 is here we are here, I'm sorry, here don't forget to put open curly brackets. This actually must. And then we have a case 1 where self.table view number of rows in section. Section is more than 0. Then we want only to return our headers at section. Okay, beautiful. And here then we'll write a default case, default : return null. Okay, so scenarios for all the section cases. So that one is section requests. That one is section recommended. This is none of the sections above. So means default case. Okay, excellent. So we're done with the sections itself. Now if we'll build and run, so it will tell us that it will show us no section header because we got no requests from the friend. So you see there are no requests. Excellent. So we will go now to another part where we're gonna load all the rows, number of rows in the section. So that is the function number of rows in section. And here for the else method, here we'll write a logic. If section equals 0, open curly bracket. So this is section requests, and we'll write else, which means all other sections. In current case, it means recommended. This is only what we have. Okay, so for other table views, show total number of cells equal to number of relevant arrays. Relevant array.count. Okay, so here we will, for the request sections, we will return requested users.count, and for the recommended users, here we're gonna return recommended users.count. Very good, very good. So we must be able now to build this. Okay, as the last step of this video, we'll go to the cell forward index path where we will program the cell to show us all the results. So we're going to the scenario where configure cell for friends table view, and here configure cell for requests, and we'll write here the if statement: if index path dot section equals 0, so it means the section is 0. Then I'm scrolling down right after this return cell. I'm putting one more curly bracket. So I select this one and I click tab, and I'll just move them a little bit. Okay, very good. So in here we'll write else statement as well. And for all the else statement, what I will do, I will copy the content of this cell till including return cell, and I'm gonna insert it in the else statement. And these gaps, I'll just make them empty, and I'll try to build my project so it must be able to be built. So as we remember, the identifier was cell 2, and we need to cast it as recommended user cell. So delegate, there is no delegate for us. Then as requested user must be replaced with the recommended users, and this for the last name also recommended users. Then for the Avast logic also recommended users. Then we have the logic if recommended users dot count not equal to recommended users underscore Avast, then here recommended users Avast one time, recommended users Avast two time, recommended users Avast three times. So these are the changes which we must make. Just please be careful. Make sure you haven't done anything wrong. Okay, so if we will now build and run our project, we must be able to see all the changes live. Okay, let's build it. And here we go. So we see the new section, which is people you may know, Nicole Kidman and Jackie Chan. So that is really superb, guys. That is really amazing. So this is the people which we or the current user or anyone may know. So these are the recommended users. That's really amazing, guys. So we have built this logic. Extremely amazing job. Well done. Congratulations.